direttamente dalla capitale spagnola? Sì, dalla capitale spagnola. Eccola che torna con noi, Pilar Casado, una nostra collega che segue molto da vicino il basket spagnolo, in realtà che fa quello che facciamo noi sull'Eurolega in Spagna. Ciao Pilar, intanto e bentornata dalla 52.
Ciao, buonasera a tutti, come stai?
Tutti bene,
Stiamo
grazie.
bene, come vedi Marza, ti mette un'inquadratura migliore, cioè quella che mette te in primo piano e noi più piccoli. Marza, nonostante l'inquadratura eccellente, è in gran forma perché è l'unico del nostro staff, della nostra squadra che aveva praticamente detto quello che sarebbe accaduto, cioè che ragazzi, questi vanno fino in fondo e vinceranno anche a Kaunas. Noi abbiamo detto, ma no, dai, addirittura, e invece questo è accaduto. Quindi, cara Pilar, la prima domanda è molto facile, te la faccio in inglese, ma credo che la capiresti anche in italiano. It was an unbelievable regular season about the Euroleague. We talked for months, and then the playoff, incredibly, are always better. Has been better than the regular season. That I think is awesome. And then the final four, maybe not the semifinals, but the final has an incredible ending. So. Yeah, I believe that we lived an incredible season with an incredible ending, and I would like to know your opinion about this incredible win by Real Madrid. I think I told you.
It was. I don't know if it was incredible. Yeah, it was crazy. It was really crazy. The season, the way they reached the final four, the playoff against Partizan, and of course the way they beat Barcelona. Because during the season, Real Madrid has too much problems to beat Barcelona. In fact, the balance was to Barcelona. But sometimes I say, if you're going to say Real is dead, make sure that is really, really dead. Because they always come back. And there is another chance that he comes back. Because probably if we thought about, it was April 27th, the date of the second game against Partizan. It was like, oh my God, it seems that it's going to be 3-0 and Partizan is going to reach the final four. And it was not. So since this date, Real has won all the games that played. Not only in Euroleague games, in ACB League too. For example, if you have the chance to see the game against Gran Canaria, the first one yesterday, the first playoffs game, it was like 3 minutes, only that Gran Canaria can compete. 3 minutes. And
like in Italy.
The game was ended, yes. Yes. But the question is, what happened between the second and the third game of the playoffs between Partizan? The locker room was really, I don't know, damaged, but because, of course, it was unacceptable what happens during the second game. And all criticized the way they did. Of course, Yabusel and Sergio and all players. So it seems like, do you remember the last season when Grace Press revealed that some players were at Athens before a game against Panathinaikos? Do you remember this affair? Okay. There was a barbecue. Yeah, a barbecue. At Roddy's home. And it's like, okay, we are going to tell each other what we are doing bad and what we are here for. I don't know if at this time or at this point there was a barbecue. I don't think so. But it seems that there was a meeting that, of course, press doesn't know what happens to make a reunion and to say to each other, okay, we are here and we are talking about, and the season is going to an end and we have to win. And there was a big change at the team. It was a big change. And of course, not only between players. I mean, I think there is really, I think it's my opinion, there is a good coach, but probably it's quite difficult, and he can't say no to Real Madrid during the last summer when people say when Juan Carlos Sanchez told him, okay, you are going to be the head coach of the team. He can't say no. So, but there was a coach with not too much experience as a head coach, and maybe he needed time. But I think, especially at Belgrado and of course at Kaunas, he was coaching so well. We sometimes laugh about. He put on the court zone 2-3. So it's not so usual. It's not. It's not so often that you can see on the court. And we were laughing about because we always talk about this kind of zones. We say, okay, you can play when you go to the high school or a friendly game between ancient people, old people, and it was not it was not so good, Jan. I mean, and imagine. So I think there was a time to choose to know and to assign roles. Maybe it was a big problem during all the season. Minutes, because the roster of Real Madrid is 17 players. Do you know how can you manage that to keep all the players laughing and glad about, okay, if I play 15 and not 25? So, but it was amazing, really, really amazing.
Allora, ovviamente non traduciamo la risposta di Pilar perché parla tra l'altro benissimo inglese, è molto chiaro, però i tratti principalmente sono stati quelli dell'incredibile stagione, in effetti, di quello che il Real Madrid ha fatto durante la stagione e in particolare i problemi che ha avuto sfidando il Barcellona per tutto l'anno fino alla semifinale di Kaunas. Queste cose, come dire, ha citato un detto che credo possa corrispondere al famoso vendi la pelle dell'orso solo quando sei sicuro che però l'orso è andato, perché se no, se ti avvicini è un problema. È stato fatto più o meno questo con la peggior squadra con cui si può fare, cioè una squadra con una tradizione ovviamente incredibile, la numero 1 al mondo, e con un nucleo di giocatori al suo interno, naturalmente sappiamo di chi stiamo parlando, che non a caso sono stati poi i grandi protagonisti del mese fantascientifico, perché quando parliamo dei veterani siamo sempre lì a raccontare però hanno 40 anni, però hanno 1000 chilometri alle spalle, ma il veterano che, come dire, arriva in condizione nell'ultimo mese, agli ultimi 5 chilometri della maratona, ecco che ti può dare una grande mano. Cius Matteo in tutto questo, secondo Pilar, è stata, come dire, abbastanza clamoroso, nel senso che è un allenatore che è stato messo sulla panchina del Real Madrid con un'esperienza relativa da head coach, e infatti le ombre di tutta la critica, anche penso parlasse dei suoi colleghi in Spagna, che, come dire, vivisezionavano tutte le prime mosse, e quindi grande pressione dal punto di vista della critica su di lui sia in ACB che in Eurolega. Eppure è arrivato lì, e quando è successo quello che è successo tra gara 2 e gara 3, c'è stata una sorta di meeting tra, come dire, nel Real Madrid, nella squadra non reso noto alla stampa, dove probabilmente ovviamente si sono, tra virgolette, compattati ancora di più, e lì i veterani hanno preso il comando, e quindi anche la 2-3, che è poi una mossa tecnica che ha dato molto fastidio e forse è stata anche decisiva nelle Final Four, una mossa abbastanza estrosa, però legata secondo me a tutto questo discorso, perché alla fine Cius Matteo si è accorto che avrebbe avuto bisogno di quei giocatori lì, cioè di Yuye, di Rodriguez, lo stesso Fernandez, e il modo migliore per conciliare e averli in campo con l'avere in campo l'arma totale del Real Madrid, che è Tavares, cos'era? La vecchia e cara zona, che alla fine è risultata un elemento quasi decisivo, tecnicamente parlando, del Final Four. Quindi mi sembra poter riassumere che Pilar, sorpresa forse un pochino, ma che alla fine dice, alla fine Cius Matteo si è dimostrato un grandissimo allenatore, perché, come dire, le difficoltà erano davvero tante, perché allenare Real Madrid non è allenare le altre squadre. Marza, come ho tradotto?
And especially just one thing, think about what about last 10 years? Think about Lasso's era. I mean, they have won 2 Euroleague titles, I don't know how many cups and leagues and Supercopa and so on. So the first year of Cius Matteo was quite difficult because I think there's no way, obviously you are going to compare what Lasso did in 10 years, and probably this is what was really, really difficult to Cius Matteo.
E certo, ovviamente la cosa di cui si parlava all'inizio, cioè all'inizio della stagione, le grandi difficoltà, era anche amplificata dal fatto che, oltre ad essere un allenatore con poca esperienza da capo allenatore, inevitabilmente è stato fatto subito il paragone con il suo predecessore. Quando vai a cambiare allenatore che è lì da 11 anni, ha vinto 2 Euroleague, ha vinto tutto quello che ha vinto Pablo Lasso, è chiaro che il suo successore al primo problema avrebbe avuto la lente di ingrandimento, e così è stato. Mathieu Matteo non si è decisamente scomposto, e anzi è arrivato, ha portato il Real Madrid dove probabilmente pochi pensavano lo avrebbe potuto portare, soprattutto da marzo in avanti. Marza, non so se confermi.
Confermo. Pilar, I want to move to Barcelona, because otherwise we make a full show about the choose and so on. Then later I have the $1 million question about choose Mateus, but later, okay. So about Barcelona,
I know which is the question. Yeah, I know in advance, of course.
Everybody knows which is the question. But in any case, let's move to Barcelona. Barca arrived in Kaunas playing a great basketball. I mean, they made look so easy the playoff series with Žalgiris. The way they were playing in Liga, I remember the last game with Baskonia, for example. They played great, and everything looked perfect. Then all of a sudden, Final Four, lack of confidence, many details that were not going in the right direction, as Sharas said so many times. What happened? Because this is not the first time. And so really, how many times we have heard from Sharas, well, in this moment, we were not good in this situation or that, but he's always talking about details and so and so. What happened? Because everybody was thinking of a different phase of Barcelona in Kaunas.
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's a question of character. In fact, if you remember some quotes about Saras before the final four comes, that it has to be the same character as Real has. So I don't know, because okay, you can be surprised. Imagine about the defense of Eli Ndiaye at the first minutes of the game between Real and Barcelona, but it's always the same question. I heard Nikola Mirotic said before, okay, we are not the favorites to win the title, so it's good for us. This is what Nika says. Okay, no pressure, because probably all the pressure was on Olympiacos. So what really happened? I don't know exactly. I don't know what happened, because it's true that players like Abrines or Vesely and Satoransky arrived to the Final Four in a very, very good shape. In fact, if you see, for example, the third game against Žalgiris, it was amazing, and it was Toby and Abrines. They were scoring about more than 56% of 3 shots. So I don't know why, because I can understand that in Belgrade 2022 the pressure was maybe for Barcelona because they were favorites. So, but there was no pressure. But it was a lot of confidence, and that okay, Real Madrid has won three in a row, but the season of Real Madrid is not going well. Okay, we can win. I mean, in an easy way. I don't know exactly what was. What is true is that this roster has not the same confidence that Real has. This is for sure. I mean, who is the leader? The question is, who is the leader of Barcelona?
Yeah.
Which one? Which one? Yeah. I mean, you can. This is a great question. Not only if we talk about Barcelona, there are some teams that you can ask. Okay, you have 2, 3, 4 players that are good, quite good, but who is the leader at Barcelona? Saras, probably.
But he's not playing.
Yeah. This is the question. Because at Real Madrid, you have so clear that you have Sergio and the other Sergio and Rudy Fernandez. Okay, and they have a special character, and they only wants to win, and they talk in the locker room, and they try to teach to young players what does it mean to play to Real Madrid, and they are leaders. But who is the leader at Barcelona?
Okay.
I don't know.
So could be Mirotic, but they didn't.
I don't think so.
You remember?
I don't think so.
You remember, Pilar? We were there. So many questions were asked to Sharas about how bad Mirotic and La Provitola, for example, played in the semi-final. And he said the famous, okay, players can have a bad night. It's the coach that cannot have a bad night, something like that. But, you know, this is, I feel like, okay, the coach can be responsible for whatever we can say. But if your two main players play the way Nicola Provitola and Nicola Mirotic played the semi-final, okay, I cannot see any responsibility.
We have a problem.
We have a problem, really, if your best players play like that.
They are very, very good players, of course.
Sure, we all know that.
But the question is, both Nico or Satoransky or Vesely, they go to the locker room and said, okay, we are losing against Real Madrid, or we are up 9 points. I think it was
up by 6.
Yeah, by 6. Okay, so I don't know. I miss this kind of players. I don't know if they are. I'm wondering who is the leader.
Let me translate a little bit for our Italian followers. Chiaramente stiamo parlando del Barcellona, i punti fondamentali sono quelli che si è detto, sono arrivati in perfetta forma tutti i giocatori, la squadra, eccetera, eccetera, a Kaunas, e poi improvvisamente si sono spenti giocando una pessima partita, ammesso anche da Sharas, che ha detto anche quando eravamo sopra di 6 stavamo giocando una cattiva pallacanestro. Pilar dice la domanda fondamentale è chi è il leader del Barcellona, cioè ci sono giocatori che sono ottimi giocatori, grandi giocatori come Mirotic, come La Provitola, come Satoransky, che sono quelli poi che hanno sbagliato maggiormente in semifinale, e dice però sono quelli che entrano in uno spogliatoio e svolgono il loro ruolo di leadership come possono fare nel Real Madrid, ad esempio Rodriguez, Yul, Rudy, eccetera, eccetera, cioè quelli che spiegano ai giocatori più giovani cosa vuol dire giocare certe partite, indossare certe maglie e tutto quanto. Pilar dice io ho dei dubbi, e sono dei dubbi che oramai abbiamo più o meno tutti, perché li abbiamo visti sbagliare un po' troppe partite di questo tipo. Del perché si siano spenti così, perché il Barcellona si sia improvvisamente spento, francamente non lo sappiamo. Pilar, still talking about Barcelona, what do you expect from their playoff run? I mean, how much a possible win of the Liga could change something for the future? Because actually everybody is thinking of Sharas no more on the bench of Barcelona for next season. Do you think that winning the Liga can change something? And do you think that they can win the Liga or not?
Of course they can win. They can win. I think they are a very good team and they can win the ACB title. But what we know is Saras had an option to continue as a head coach, depending on Euroleague title. So this part right now is out because the team was out and he has he had no win the title, the Euroleague title. Let's see. Juan Carlos Navarro said after Monaco's defeat that at the end of the season they are going to talk to Saras. Okay, but the big question is, do you know the problems that club has? Not only the basketball team, all the team, football and all hockey and handball and basketball. And they are going to reduce the budget. Maybe at the beginning, it seems that it's going to be 10% down. But the last information about it's going to be 25%. So it finally is 25%, it's like the budget of this season, it was not official, it was 44 million. So let's make a count.
33.
So 33. And there are some high contracts. For example, one is Niko Mirotic. It's more than 11 million. So what is going to happen? I think this is the big question. This is the big question. I mean, probably, I don't know. I don't have asked to Saras if he wants to continue, if the budget is 33 and not 44 or 45. And how many players can he have with 33 and which kind of players? So, and how many players are going to reduce his salary to adapt to the new financial situation?
Yeah, because there are only three free agents in Barcelona team: Kuric, Schanle, and Toby. The other has agreements.
Yeah,
so they have to say yes. Okay, we lost some money, but it's not.
There's a weird situation because Barcelona is actually, I studied it yesterday, is actually the team with the most contract, the most deals expiring next season, at least the next season. They have 11 players, as 24. Well as Real Madrid. They are the two teams of Euroleague with the most contract expiring starting from the next season. So it's unbelievable, that situation, because what do you do? I mean, okay, you can say to a player, you cut 25% or you leave, as we read about Mirotic, for example. But that's not easy. I mean,
what Barcelona did some seasons ago is, okay, you have, imagine, 2 seasons and I have to pay you 5 million. Okay.
Yeah, they make
okay. We are going to add 1 season or 2 seasons more, and we are going to keep your money, but not in 2 years, even in 4.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Kyle Kuric ends contract. Mike Toby, of course, because he was added to the roster due to Nikola Mirotic injury. But what about the others?
And Schanle is over the contract.
That's something that happened also to add some years and keep the same money. That's something that happened, for example, in Italian football with all the crisis after in the pandemic situation and so. It was something that happened, but it's not easy because
something wrong also.
Because I say if a player says no, I mean the deal is signed, the deal is confirmed, so you have to pay him. Either the player finds another team accepting to take the contract, otherwise you have to pay him. So what's going to happen?
Maybe if the other team pays the same amount, you cannot pay. But it's not easy to find a team that know that you have this situation. Exactly. They say to you, okay, we paid Mirotic, but we pay 4 million, and you pay the other 8, and you say, no, that's not the way, and say, okay, so no, nothing.
Yeah, to loan some players, maybe. Oof.
Yeah, but to which team can you loan that kind of?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, exactly.
Talking about Mirotic, who's going to pay that money to Mirotic? That is the problem.
Nobody.
Even the biggest.
I think nobody right now in Europe can pay this amount of money.
Exactly.
Right now, I think right now. Maybe I'm wrong, and probably I will be wrong. But I mean, 3 or 4 years ago, with Russian teams in the Euroleague, maybe CSKA Moscow can pay. I don't know. Or Fenerbahce wouldn't have another budget. Yeah. But the question is, right now, who are going to pay?
Mainly knowing the situation in Barcelona.
Exactly, because they know that they are obliged.
And they have to do it, because it's not a question, only a basketball team question. I mean, it's a football. Because if basketball doesn't cut the budget and reduce the budget, it means that the football team cannot go and compete because of financial fair play.
Yeah.
So it's like.
Yeah. So let me translate a little bit just the main points. Chiaramente si parlava della situazione del Barcellona, credo che tutti abbiate perfettamente capito. C'è una riduzione di budget importante che inizialmente si diceva doveva essere il 10% e invece adesso sembra si spinga fino al 20-25%. I 44 milioni di cui si è parlato è il costo totale, non sono solo i salari dei giocatori, il costo totale di quello che ha speso il Barcellona l'anno scorso, che però ridotto chiaramente un 25% porterebbe a 33. E attenzione, non è che 33 sia uno scandalo
no.
con cui non si può fare l'Eurolega.
No, c'è chi fa i playoff con un terzo. Quindi...
Esatto, assolutamente. Però chiaramente ci sono 11 contratti a Barcellona che scadranno dal 24 in poi, tra cui quello gigantesco di Nikola Mirotic, che sono all'incirca 5 milioni netti per anno, quindi si parla di 10-11 milioni, che chiaramente tu non è che puoi semplicemente prenderle e dire ok, trovati un'altra squadra, o te lo taglio o vai via. Perché un'altra squadra che gli dà 5 milioni, io faccio fatica a pensarla oggi al di fuori del mondo NBA. Perché assolutamente in Europa è molto difficile. Giustamente Pilar ha citato il fatto successo, quello che è successo anche con diverse squadre italiane di calcio nei momenti Covid eccetera, prendere un contratto e dire ok, ti devo dare 10 milioni in 2 anni, ti do 10 milioni ma te li do, che ne so, in 3 o 4, si spalma il contratto, cioè ti garantisco gli stessi soldi però su più anni. E lì il discorso dopo da capire è se il giocatore accetta, perché se i giocatori non accettano c'è poco da fare, viene fuori un bel casino. Per cosa fai?
Ma Mirotic non aveva già rinegoziato la prima stesura del contratto?
Sì, una che è piccolina, però poca roba.
A small one. Pilar, he has already reduced his fee maybe 3 years ago. I don't remember, something like that.
Yes,
I think after the first or the second year that he was come back. I think they did
the
it
pandemic.
because there's no a new situation. It happened before. It happened before with other seasons. I think at the end of the second. But do you know, Barca is not going to say we did it. Nico, of course, he didn't say I did it, but all know that some players, of course, as football players did and handball players did, and some employers, some club employers did it. So
yeah,
it's like a secret called so high, like this.
I know that you want to keep talking about Barca because you don't want me to make the $1 million question to
you. And which is $1 million question. If Chus Mateo is going to be the go-to.
So we were there in Sevilla, for example, in Sevilla at the beginning of the season, and after the first quarter, people was talking about when Chus will be fired, because that's what happened.
Yeah, but it was the same situation when Lasso came to be the head coach. I remember perfectly because here there is an expression that is you're not going to eat turrón. Turrón, you know, is a special gift of Christmas here in Spain.
Italy,
so it means that you're not going to arrive to Christmas as head coach. Okay. I think it's so it's no strange. It's so curious that there was no rumors since Euroleague Final Four.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, because there is always a question. A coach that have won by now Supercopa and Final Four, and we don't know what is going to happen with the ACB League, really is going to be fired.
Exactly, that's the point.
Especially because it's not just a question of titles. The president of the club, Florentino Perez, was talking about the day before when they were celebrating with the major and community, both the titles. The president says that Chus Mateo is one club man, is a man from the club. That means, okay, he was working since he was young and he was here for a long time. And probably some people didn't respect him as they should do. So if president says something like that, means that Chus is going to continue?
It's a $1
Who is going? Who now? The question is, who is going to fire?
Exactly.
Who is going to fire? But we know, and we are sure, and of course there is a good information that the manager of the club has a meeting with Sergio and with Misco. So who didn't give Chus Mateo the respect? Journalist? Fans? Who? This is the question.
Inside of the club.
This is the question.
Yeah.
Allora,
But of course, fans' opinion has changed a lot. Yeah. It's true. Has changed it.
That's normal with that's normal with the fans. It happens everywhere. You see what happened in Italy with football, for example. In Inter Milan, Simone Inzaghi needed to be fired for all the fans.
Before.
I was in that group of fans.
Yeah, you were.
5 or 6 weeks ago.
You.
Then actually won the Italian Cup. He's in the Champions League final, so he is my idol. So
and for example, we always are comparing with Pablo Lasso era at Real Madrid. I remember it was in his second season, I think. He reached to the semifinals of ACB League, and this made that Pablo was not fired. And for example, in 2014, before the great season of 2015, I remember Fotis Katsikaris was here in Madrid.
We know the story.
And Pablo was going to be fired. So let's see what happens.
Kind of sliding doors, something
for me,
yeah.
For me, I told the last week it's impossible to fire Chus Mateo. It's impossible for a normal sport management. Maybe Real Madrid can do it, but I think you have to think of what happened after that. Because if you fire the man who bring you to the top of the Euroleague, next season, the man who come have to go there and win again. Because if he lose the final with one shot at the buzzer, it will be a failure. It will be a failure after Chus Mateo win. So
imagine if Chus wins the league.
Yeah, also.
Can you imagine? So who is going to fire him?
It's like the Mourinho situation after the 2010 that Inter, which is Marza is a hardcore fan. Mourinho escaped from Milan and they choose another coach.
So there's a rumor. There's a rumor that Alberto is going to go to Istanbul. True?
Yeah, but it's a rumor.
I talked to Sergio that wanted to go, but Sergio told me there is game 1 of the Italian final, so I hope I cannot go there because
Paglia non è stato esonerato, diciamo, ad uno naso, praticamente oggi una giornata difficile, forse si collega alla fine, forse no, d'altronde il fatto di essere stato troppo poco agitatore negli ultimi mesi un pochino deve aver influito, Manza, credo,
assolutamente.
No? Certo, voglio dire,
quindi non credo ci sia molto da tradurre, chiaramente abbiamo toccato l'argomento Chus Mateo, la domanda era quello che ho definito la domanda $1 milione, è chi licenzia Chus Mateo adesso che per tutto l'anno è stato messo alla porta, criticato ogni mossa, ogni partita, ogni situazione difficile. Chi lo licenzia adesso dopo aver vinto l'Eurolega? E giustamente siamo arrivati al punto e ci segnalava giustamente Pilar che dal giorno della vittoria tutti i rumors si sono silenziati, non si è parlato più di nessun altro allenatore, non si è detto niente, e la cosa forse la più importante è che Florentino Perez, che insomma un pochino conta all'interno di questo club, ha detto è un uomo del nostro club, è un uomo che è con noi da sempre, sin da quando era giovanissimo, e quindi diciamo che ci vorrebbe del bel fegato, diremmo in Italia, perché un dirigente anche della sezione basket, e sappiamo di chi stiamo parlando, di Juan Carlos Sanchez, si prendesse la briga di licenziare Chus Mateo in questa situazione. Ancor peggio se dovesse vincere la Liga, perché se dovesse vincere la Liga... Anyway, we can say Pilar...
Never say no.
No,
never.
Yeah, never say no. I still have a lot of doubts. I tell you, because I still have a lot of doubts. I'm definitely not sure that Chus will be on that bench. But I can say that for Chus Mateo, as a human being, he deserved the Euroleague, and he deserves to be on that bench because he's a very special guy, far different from many other coaches that are too much, I would say, protagonist. And I don't know if he's a great coach because we saw him 1 year. So if he will be a great coach,
what we know
in 5 years.
What we know for sure, that he's maybe the best assistant. This is what is true. This is what we know for sure.
Exactly.
The doubt right now, if it's going to be the best head coach. Be patient. We don't know yet.
Well, 1 year, 1 Euroleague title. So it's started very well. Ma magari non sarà, ne parleremo fra 10 anni, ma fra 10 anni potremmo essere qua a commentare 7 Euroleghe vinte da Chus Mateo alla caccia di Obradovic. Nessuno lo sa, voglio dire, quando alleni il Real Madrid, in realtà una chance ce l'hai sempre, dice qualcuno.
And some people reminds us that, okay, he was able to beat Zelko and Saras and Bartzokas.
Not bad to start.
Not bad. Not bad.
So, Pilar, going to the Liga ACB playoff, they started with a big surprise, an unexpected win by La Peña in Baskonia and El Buesa. And then we saw yesterday Malaga winning in Tenerife. Chus Vidoreta said there was a problem of gastroenteritis for 4 or 5 players.
Yes, true.
And but in any case, with best of 3 series, this is already something important that can bring us to some surprise. What I'm asking you is, do you expect a Classico in the final, or do you leave some room to some, I would say, surprise with other teams?
I think we can see at the final another Classico. Yeah, it depends on. Of course, I think Baskonia can win at Badalona tomorrow. Of course. What we saw on the first game, it was really amazing. Kyle Guy.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, 9 3-point shots. It was really amazing. Not only Kyle Guy. There was the team. It was all the team. I didn't know how many weeks I didn't see Juventud playing as well as he did in Vitoria on Saturday. It was really amazing. So I think Baskonia can win there, and let's see what happens in the third game. Because this quarterfinals playoffs, obviously, there is always a chance for surprises. But if Baskonia advances to semifinals, maybe
Real Madrid.
Yeah. So I don't know if it's the time for Baskonia. I don't know.
It's always been a time, so maybe it's time for Madrid. They always lost
4-0.
Yeah, 4-0. Maybe it will be a long playoff. Maybe they will need 5 games.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we hope so.
And I hope so, because it's so funny to see Baskonia this season playing basketball. But let's see. Imagine what is going to happen to think Carles Duran. Okay, I'm going to play the second at my home. And do you remember at the Spanish Cup, Juventud beat Baskonia too?
Yeah.
So let's see what happens. Of course, maybe if Juventud is on the way to the final, maybe it will be, I think, be a little more easy to Real Madrid to reach the final. And on the other side, Valencia is at the playoffs because the teams that were behind them was bad at the 4 or 5 weeks to remind the regular season. A lot of doubts about Valencia. A lot of doubts. I think Barcelona can make this series 2-0, and that's all. I think they can. Yeah, I think they can do in 2 games.
And Pilar, one last important question is about the Euroleague, about the future of Gran Canaria. we saw that they signed an important sponsorship last week with Dreamland, but yesterday the president Sitafa Salanè said that we travel more than an NBA team. And it's true. I mean, so they say that they made the example of Valencia spending $500,000 in the Euro Cup, and then 1.5 million for away games when they move to Euroleague. So do you think they will really say no to Euroleague? Because don't forget 2018 when they were in Euroleague, and they run the risk of being relegated in the Liga ACB, because it was
think about Gran Canaria has no charter flight.
Exactly.
So they has to travel by regular flights. That means 2 hours and 45 minutes, more or less, to Madrid, and then to other places. There are some straight flights from Gran Canaria. I mean, like Kaunas Malaga or Kaunas Palma de Mallorca. There are some straight flights to some cities, but it's not so easy to fly. What happened last time they were playing Euroleague? They were fighting to avoid going down. So maybe this is a risk. Not is only a question of money, of budget, because with a new sponsor, I think they can reach 15 million nets, more or less, for the budget. Maybe
bad.
It's not bad. I think they can, but the question is, okay, what can we do? Make a roster to compete in Euroleague, because this Euroleague format can't avoid you to go at the middle of the season. You remember the other format? Maybe you have a regular season, shorter than that.
You play 4 months.
Yeah, so you have to play 34 rounds, and there's no way to go out at 10 or at 20s, bro. So I think this is the great question for Gran Canaria. Okay, we are going to make a roster to compete in Euroleague, and we are going to make a roster 1 year contract. Maybe there are some players that they are not going to accept only 1 year.
Yeah,
they wanted probably more. And if you don't continue in Euroleague, what are you going to do in the second season?
Exactly.
Okay, so but it's gonna be a strange case anyway. If they say no to Euroleague, maybe it's an interesting decision. Yeah,
but it's not. Also, the Euroleague can say, "Well, you didn't lost a game in Euro Cup, you won it. So what's the problem? You didn't think about
it." But you know, Euro Cup is another question. This is not the same.
I know. But Euroleague can ask Gran Canaria, "What do you think? If you win the Euro Cup, now it's time to Euroleague. You think at the beginning of the season you are not able to win the Euro Cup? I don't think. The team was good, very good for the Euro Cup.
Yeah, the question is, why are you playing at the Euro Cup if you are not going to reach the Euroleague?
Yeah,
this is the question.
Yeah, maybe they can think we are very good for the Euro Cup, but maybe the format, the single game from the quarterfinals, we can go out in any moment, so it's not so necessarily that we are good and we will win. But it happened, and now you are doing not a good, I would say, spot of yourself, because you say something that is strange to hear about the team that won the Euro Cup, which is a big target for many teams that didn't reach it.
Yeah, let's see. I mean, I think maybe there's a chance to see Gran Canaria at Euroleague. I think there's a chance, of course.
They need a charter, definitely. They need to start from the charter, I think. If you want to
need the charter.
Yeah, the charter, because the charter, I think, is about I heard about
but you have to add
1 million a year is the cost.
Yeah, but you have to it's not only a question of money. I mean, you have to add at least 3 hours more than other teams.
Yeah.
No, of course, this is tough, but also
it's so far.
Difficult, and they didn't.
Yeah, it's really far. I mean, it's really far. It's about 2,500 kilometers away. So Yeah,
I've been
it's
there.
too
It's a
tough.
long trip. Yeah,
It's Africa. As Sitafa said, it's Africa. So
yeah.
Yes,
That's the
Yes.
reason, because that we have to start from the charter. I would say to the president of Gran Canaria, which cost about 1 million a year. So I think if you want to do it, you have to do it with this, but not
Like a
only
top
for the
player.
economy. What?
like a top player, like paying a top player. Instead of paying a top player, you get a charter. So
I
that
don't
is
think you have to spend so much money to pay the top player that for 1 year, as I say, PILAR. It's not easy to bring here Lorenzo Brown, I say, for 1 year contract. You have to pay him 2 million or something like that. It's impossible. I think they have to pay.
or 2 seasons. So
Yeah.
who is going to be there just 1 season?
No, I think nobody very good. I think they have to play and do what they do each year. Maybe keeping 4 players more that they used to do, because they
And
play
your
the
roster
Euroleague.
needs to be longer. I mean,
Yeah,
you
it has
cannot
to
go
be.
with 11 players or 12.
no.
You need at
Yeah.
least 15.
Yeah,
So
16 is better.
yeah.
Okay, so Pilar, I have one last question, very, very quick. It's about the final game, Olympiacos Real. In my opinion, it was one of the best final we ever saw in the last years. I'm comparing it with the 2018 final between Real and Fenerbahce in Belgrade. But I think that in that final, there were more champs than the one we saw in this final. Doncic, Facu, then the players from Fenerbahce, a lot of big. There were more stars, but as a game itself, I feel like it was one of the best final ever. What do you think about that?
Yeah, me too. Yeah, me too. I think it was better than the 2018. Probably, as you know, Luca, he was MVP of that of that Final Four, and Fabio Campazzo was there. But I think um, there were less stars probably at this final. I mean, if you check the roster of Olympiacos, I mean there are unbelievable players like Lucas or Papa Nicolau or some players of Real Madrid, but it was a question of team, because Olympiacos is a team that defends so well, and it's just a question of the team, of course. I mean, if you are the best defender of the Euroleague, it's just because all the team is doing that. And probably there is no superstar, but there are some lot of good, really good players. Yeah, I agree with you.
Ho chiesto
And the star was Sergio Llull once again, because Chus Mateo was looking for at the bench and asked Sergio, "Okay, this is your time. Are you going to do it?" And Sergio says, "Yes." And he did it.
il
Not too
Ciaccio.
not too much players are going to have
No, not too much.
yeah, not too much. But I remember just a short sentence of Sergio Llull during January. I remember in the locker room. Okay, I have good days and I have bad days, but I'm not going to hide. Never. This is how I am. If you like it, okay. If you don't, turn off the TV. It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
it was
I remember that stuff.
yeah.
Assolutamente. Ho chiesto a Pilar solamente velocemente sul discorso della finale, se la finale di quest'anno la ritiene una delle migliori di sempre in Eurolega. Io personalmente la metto insieme a quella del 2018 Real Fenerbahce, però forse allora c'erano più stelle, pensando a Luka Doncic, pensando al Facu, ai giocatori del Fenerbahce. Ricordiamo una grandissima partita dello stesso Nick Melli, insomma una serie di giocatori notevolissimi. E mi ha detto sì, è una delle migliori, secondo me anche migliore. Forse c'erano più star, però qui c'era più un concetto comunque di squadra. Pensiamo a una squadra Olympiacos che comunque schierava gente come Papa Nicolau, come Slucas, quindi lo stesso Vesenkov, insomma, quindi di alto livello. E dice poi qui la stella è stata Llull, che si è preso le sue responsabilità e ha ricordato una cosa che disse Llull al mese di gennaio ancora, quando disse: io nel bene o nel male non mi nasconderò mai, se vi piace è così, se non vi piace spegnete pure la televisione. E questo è un po' Serghi come lo conosciamo da tanto tempo, e infatti se mette quei tiri direi che possiamo aver finito, cosa dici? Lasciamo libera Pilar.
Sì, infatti abbiamo fatto una bellissima panoramica sulla Spagna e quello che succederà tra l'altro nei playoff, che come avete capito sono molto molto complicati. La formula corretta sono 2 in casa della miglior classificata e la terza eventualmente in casa di quella
No,
che parte.
adesso è 2 su 3 i quarti di finale.
Sì, 2 su 3 dico, ma le prime 2 le gioca in casa quella col miglior record,
No,
giusto?
no.
No.
1-1-1.
La terza è quella, ok, no, non so perché mi ero sognato questa cosa che avessero fatto questa formula.
No, questa la possono fare solo in Israele per far battere il Maccabi. Può succedere
ok.
È una cosa che possono inventare, che se il Maccabi arriva primo gioca in trasferta tutte le serie pur di non farlo vincere.
Che ci può stare, sì, grande. Va
Va
bene, Pilar, ci risentiamo magari per la fine del playoff quando ci sarà eventualmente il classico, ma molti dicono di no perché dicono che qualcuno piazzerà la sorpresa. Non sarebbe la prima volta in ACB che, voglio dire, ha il segreto del suo successo anche nel fatto che è vero che ci sono le 2 powerhouse, Real Madrid e Barcellona, ma ormai ci sono 3-4 squadre al di sotto, ma non tanto al di sotto, che ogni 2-3 anni riescono a infilarsi. E questa potrebbe essere una stagione di quelle particolari. Ci risentiamo magari prima della fine. Grazie mille per essere stata con noi e in bocca al lupo e buon proseguimento del tuo lavoro per le finali, per i playoff.
It's always a pleasure to be with you and have a good season till the end of the season. And Alberto, let's see what happens with your question.
Ok, vediamo.
Ciao, ci vediamo.
Ciao Pilar.
Ciao.